Hi everyone, it's Cynthia here. Recently I went to Costco and I saw that they had some nougat candy. These are traditional and very easy to make and delicious. So let's make it. First we went to Dollarama and we bought some freeze-dried strawberries, freeze-dried peach chips, and also some freeze-dried apples. You could also add some bananas if you would like. Basically anything you can find. It's all based off of personal preference. The most important ingredient when it comes to making nougat are marshmallows. At Dollarama, they only had big ones, but mini ones work the best, so try to find those. But if not, these work great. Another important ingredient for adding some crunch are biscuits. These social tea biscuits at Dollarama work great, but you can also use Lotus cookies. We couldn't forget about our 2 cats, so we bought them a lot of treats along the way too. The ratio of milk powder and nougat are 3:10, so that means for every 100 grams of marshmallows, you use 30 grams of milk powder. Put all of the ingredients in same sized bowls. You will know why later on. We had recently bought these bowls at Costco. It was $13 for 10. You could go more generous on the biscuits because they're a main part of the nougat and they add more crunch. Today we used about 150 grams. The reason why we put all of the ingredients in the same size bowls is because that gives us a better idea of how much marshmallow to use. As you can see, we have mini marshmallows because they're going to be easier. For the amount of marshmallows to use, you can't go off of just weight because the dried fruits are very light, but they do take up a lot of room. And so if you go off of weight, you're going to end up having a lot less marshmallow. And so here I'm estimating how much dried fruit I have, and everything combined is about 2 bowls and a half, and that's exactly how much marshmallows I put, 2 bowls and a half. The volume of every ingredient combined should be the same as the volume of marshmallows that you're using. I used about 150 grams of marshmallows here. Now we break the cookies. It will be less work if you manage to find smaller ones, but these ones are good. You could also add some nuts or just about any dry ingredient you can find around the house. We've added some pumpkin seeds and cashews to ours. Next, prepare some butter to melt the marshmallows with. You don't need a lot of butter, only about 30 to 40 grams will be enough. For making nougat, you have to use a non-stick pan on medium heat. Be careful not to turn the heat up too high since butter can burn very easily. Add all of the marshmallows after the butter has melted. Keep stirring the marshmallows after having added them to the pan. Be very careful to keep everything on medium heat since it can burn very easily. We would rather the heat being too low and everything taking longer to melt than the temperature being too high because then everything would burn. This is why we recommend using smaller marshmallows since they melt more easily on low heat, but bigger marshmallows will just take up more time. After everything has melted and you no longer see any lumps of marshmallow, add the milk powder. After having fully incorporated your milk powder, add your other ingredients. You could do it like me and add everything individually, or already pre-mix them in the same bowl and just dump everything together. If it's your first time making nougat, you could add a little more marshmallows since it will be easier to mix everything together. After everything is mixed, you can now dump it on a shallow baking tray lined with parchment paper. Everything is still very hot at this stage, so be careful not to burn yourself. You can scrape off the marshmallow left on the wooden spoon with a spatula, or you could already mix everything with a spatula so it will be easier. While everything is still soft and malleable, mix everything once more because the marshmallow has a tendency of going down. If it's too hot, you could wear some gloves. Keep folding to incorporate the marshmallow evenly throughout. This has to be done while it's still warm, or else everything will start to harden and you wouldn't be able to fold it anymore. After everything is very even throughout, put another parchment paper on top and cover everything. Keep using your hands to flatten it out and use a rolling pin to make it more even. If you would like it to be more sweet, you could always add more marshmallows and it would make the shaping process easier. After flattening, leave it in the baking tray to cool. It's okay if the edges aren't perfectly straight because we're going to be cutting them and eating them anyways. After everything has cooled, you can now use your knife to cut it. Peel the parchment papers off, but don't throw them away because they're going to come in handy later. I've sped up the cutting process, but you basically cut off all the corners, all the sides, and then cut everything into bite-sized pieces. My daughter really likes bringing them to school and sharing them with friends, and so the bite-sized pieces make it easier to do so. With the ratio of marshmallows that we went with, you can see all of the ingredients on the side and barely any marshmallows. Remember those parchment papers that we put aside? Now cut them into the size of the container that you're going to store these in. And also separate everything with parchment paper so that they don't get humid nor stick to each other. Here's how they look after being put in the container. I decided to put them on 2 layers so that they're easier to take and they look better. I filled up about 2 big containers and this lasts us about a week. The best part is that there are no preservatives nor chemicals and you can customize them however you like. If you have any other ingredients that you think we should try out, please comment them below. This is Cynthia's channel. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.